Hi everybody, welcome to another video. This one is Candy Coral Orange with the DV1 base gun in 1.1mm, and that's over, as you can see, a gold base. Just before I start, just to say thanks to everybody for the subscriptions, the likes, etc. Very much appreciated. If you're enjoying what you're seeing and you're new to the channel, then think about giving us a subscription. I'll put the address or link address in the description of the video. We're also on Facebook and Instagram if you fancy following us there as well. The address is on the screen. Okay, so we're using a DV1 base gun in 1.1. We're using it for base, well, in this case candy, and for clear. So at the end, obviously the final stages, you'll see it being used for clear. Now I'm using it in 1.1, and the reason for that, I got a full set of tips for both the clear gun and the base gun off a chap on eBay. It started off with one listed on eBay, led to a lot of different things, and I ended up getting a full set of each. So I actually have a real wide range of tips for the DV1. And I was using 1.1, which is the smallest I've got. I think they make a 1 actually, but it's the smallest I've got anyway. And I thought that'd be ideal for the candy because I'm using a candy concentrate. So it's a powder that you mix up with some clear base coat, so base coat binder. You mix it up, you know, 1 sachet of powder to 1 litre of your clear base coat. Mix it up and then away you go. It does store, it does keep well, but I used the 1.1, which was absolutely fine, but I would have preferred the 1.2 or 1.3 for the clear stage really. But I realised that everybody hasn't got access to loads of different tips, loads of different guns, so I thought I would keep it as it was. This is about 1.5 years ago, this video, so it's quite old. But it was in a period where I was experimenting a lot with candy colours, and because I really like candy, but viewers wise, it doesn't seem to get loads of people viewing because I'm not sure why. I think it's quite a niche thing, isn't it? But you know, I still like doing it, so I will put the odd video up now and again of it, just so that people that do like it can see it. So we're going over a gold base, and I did do a video with a green candy over a gold and silver base. Half the tank, or more or less half the tank, was silver, half of it was gold, and it just shows you the difference that the base colour makes to a candy coat. And I'll put a link, as I say, I'll put a link in the description so that you can find that if you want to see the difference. But something like this, for me, definitely needs to go over a gold rather than, you know, a silver. Often a lot of colours go over a silver. A purple, for example, is better in my opinion over a silver, but this had to go over a gold. Now I started off using a very small amount out. I started off with half a turn. Now the DV1 is I was going to say quite peculiar. Some guns do it, some don't, but you only get about 1 3/4 turns from no fluid to full fluid. So when I'm saying sort of like half a turn, 3/4 of a turn, 1 turn out, it's actually percentage wise, it's a reasonable amount, if that makes sense. So I started off with each basically adding 1/4 of a turn. So I started off with half a turn, 3/4, 1 turn, and then I went to 1 1/2 and then full fluid basically for the candy coat. The clear coat is full fluid all the way through, which you'd expect really. And as I say, that really didn't put quite out enough as I wanted, but you know, we got there in the end. But a lot of people will pick holes actually the way I'm doing this, but for me, and believe me, it works very, very well. You're literally just colouring it in. You're using it and colouring it in. Now this wouldn't work, I don't think. I haven't tried it, but I don't think it would work on car panels. You need to get some kind of rhythm going. Normally it's like a 70-75% overlap, like you do with most painting really, to get it nice and even. But literally doing this, it worked absolutely fine. And I think on the bike stuff you'll get away with doing it like this because you're literally just colouring it in. But the reason for doing it with small amounts is because I'd never used this colour before. I'd never used this powder in this colour before, obviously, and I didn't know how much to put on, because I didn't know how much I wanted, because you're literally going for a look, you know, for a colour. So you literally just keep adding it until you think it's right. So you might put 2 on, depending on how much fluid you've got coming out. You might put 2 on, you might put 4 on, you might put 6 on. I think I've only got 5 on video, but I've got little notes that I make, as I say, because some of this stuff is done quite a while ago, and the note I've made said 6 coats, so I think I must have missed a coat, or I've put 6 and it was 5, but anyway, it matters little. I must say, the colour of this was probably the nicest, or is the nicest colour for me that I've ever done, because it just looked absolutely gorgeous. In the sunshine, you'll see at the end as a high resolution video at the end, and it just looked absolutely superb. Now, if you don't like oranges and things like that, you won't think it does, but you know, I do, so I thought it looked really, really nice. One thing you need to be careful with candies, now as I say, this is a pigment, and even if you use like a good quality, say House of Colour or someone ready-made candy base coat or cover coat, whatever you want to call it, you can still get degradation with down to sunlight, UV rays. It still loses its colour over time, and sometimes that can be a year, sometimes it can be 2 years. It depends where the bike is put. If it's put in a garage, comes out the odd sunny day, it will last you for years. If it's something that's used a lot in sunshine, it does happen. It does lose its colour. So expect to, I mean, it's absolutely fine by me, because it's another excuse to paint something, isn't it? But you know, if you're paying for a candy job, then even the best job in the world will still lose some candy colour over time. It just seems to always happen. I'm not sure why. It's obviously something to do with the fact that even though you're putting a colour over the top, it's obviously, you can still see the base colour, hence the colour comes through. So I think it's to do with the fact that there's not loads of pigment actually in the base colour. But one thing I will say is, when you look at it at the end, there was some very, very small, and this is only something that a painter, or maybe even the painter, you know, the guy that did it, i.e. me, would notice, and that was that there was some very, very small amounts of like darker pigment. And I don't mean as in, you know, it's been laid on darker in some areas than others, not motley, just little bits of pigment. And I noticed that, and as I say, this is one of the first ones I did with the powder, the candy powder. And what I found eliminated it. I was using 190 micron filters, and it doesn't quite take it out. As you can see, it's a lovely paint job, and you can't see it, but the painter would notice it. And I've got rid of that anyway. I now use, for candy colours with a concentrate, or any candy colours really, I use 125 micron, and that got rid of the problem. The little tiddly bits are actually caught in the strainer. So, or if you're using PPS, use 125 micron PPS, and you find it gets rid of it all. But I think you'll agree, it's absolutely gorgeous colour, probably my nicest colour I've ever done. Really, really nice. It looks much better, I think, than it would do over a silver. It's much, much warmer. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll keep them coming if you keep them watching. And just once again, just to say thanks for everybody, for the comments, etc. is much appreciated. I try and answer everything I can. If I miss something, then apologies, but there are quite a lot these days. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.